Civil war? Who has the most guns? I know there is talk of a violent civil war in America, and most of this chatter is on the internet from heavily armed right-wing groups who support Trump. Recently, it is being discussed openly in the journal Foreign Policy by others, including former U.S. Army Special Forces and State Department member Keith Mines, who believes there is a 60% chance of a civil war in the USA within 10 years. Even though polling shows that the majority of Americans do not support Trump, it should be remembered that Trump supporters are more armed than non-Trump supporters. Polling shows military service members are evenly split on Trump, and police departments are more supportive of Trump than the military, currently over 800,000 police. Trump has cemented his support by increased funding to police departments. Trump is preparing for results of the dystopia he is creating. Progressives, be careful if you are hoping for an armed revolution. Trump seems to be preparing on several fronts for an armed struggle in November 2020. On the fronts that has gotten some publicity is the possible dress rehearsal of troops being sent to American cities like Portland and Seattle. Unmarked cars and kidnapping techniques were used to capture protesters far from the federal buildings they are supposed to be guarding. On a front less recognized, Trump is attempting to declare the Antifa, aka anti-fascist movement, as a terrorist organization, since they tend to counter in an aggressive way the armed right-wing and white supremacist groups that support him. Here is a list of armed groups and their cyber hangouts that support Trump. These groups are the guerrilla army, the brown shirts from Hitler era, that will attack non-Trumpers in the likely chaos of November 2020 if Trump is not selected. On August 17, 2020, in Georgia, Michigan, and Oregon, some of the above groups started these violent attacks. Notice that the Anti-Defamation League stated that it is important to reject attempts to claim equivalence between the Antifa and the white supremacist groups they oppose, noting that right-wing extremist movements, in the list just shown, are much more violent and have been responsible for hundreds of murders in the United States, while there have not been any known Antifa-related murders. Of the above Trump-supporting groups who advocate violence, QAnon has recently come into prominence. Q has accused many liberal Hollywood actors, Democratic politicians, and high-ranking officials of being members of an international child sex trafficking ring. Many QAnon adherents believe Donald Trump is Q, who is working to save America. QAnon is related to the infamous Pizzagate conspiracy theory and Trump supporters like Alex Jones. Recently, several QAnon supporters won Republican primaries and likely will win congressional seats.